Good day to you. Today we're going to discuss about one of God's most amazing and beautiful creations, which are the plants.
The importance of plants to humans and just about all other life on Earth is staggering. Life as we know it would not be possible without plants. And why are plants so important? Okay. First, plants supply food to all nearby terrestrial organisms, meaning land animals, including us humans. We either eat plants or we eat other animals that eat plants. Next, the plants maintain the atmosphere. They produce oxygen and absorb carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. And oxygen, as we all know, is essential for cellular respiration and for all aerobic organisms. It also maintains the ozone layer that helps protect the Earth's life from damaging UV protection. Removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere reduces the greenhouse gases and creates global warming. Next, the plants recycle matter in biochemical cycle. For example, through transpiration, plants move enormous amounts of water from the soil to the atmosphere. Plants such as the peas host bacteria that fix nitrogen. This makes nitrogen available to all plants, which pass it on to the consumers. Next, the plants provide many products for human use, such as firewood, timber, fibers, medicines, dyes, pesticides, oils, and rubber. Lastly, plants create habitats for many organisms. A single tree may provide food and shelter to many species of insects, worms, small mammals, birds, and reptiles. Plants as food products. Humans depend directly or indirectly on plants. When we eat animal flesh, it comes from an animal that has been fed with grass. When we eat plant food, these are produced directly by plants. 1 million people around the world can be sustained on plants, producing cereals. This is the reason why wheat is the most important food in the Western world, corn in many parts of America, and rice here in Asia. And this is rice. Now, plants produce fruits rich in carbohydrates, vitamins, and fiber. The importance of fruit in the human diet has been recognized since remote times, to the extent that ancient people referred to it as food of the gods, and granted it divine or magic properties. Bananas are the fourth most important type of food in the diets of developing countries after rice, wheat, and maize. Oranges are the most consumed within the fruits. These are bananas and fruits. Now, plants provide us with vegetables rich in vitamins and minerals necessary for health maintenance. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, carrots, and etc. are part of our regular salads. Spinach, cabbage, and artichokes are also present in the diet of many people and provide essential food in the Mediterranean diet. We also obtain many well-known drinks such as wine that is produced from grapes and beer from barley. These are the cauliflower and artichokes. Next, the nuts are a source of vegetable fat. They provide healthy calories and abundant minerals. Hazelnuts or almonds are also very commonly used. Other plants also provide fats such as margarine from corn and edible oils such as olive oil, sunflower oil, or soybean oil. Now these are the numerous nuts. We have cashews and almonds and hazelnuts.
Another importance of plants is through the use of medicine. A medicinal plant is any plant which in one or more of its organs contains substances that can be used for therapeutic purposes, or which are precursors for the synthesis of useful drugs. This description makes it possible to distinguish between medicinal plants whose therapeutic properties and constituents have been established scientifically and plants that are regarded as medicinal but which have not yet been subjected to a thorough scientific study. A number of plants have been used in traditional medicine for many years. Some do seem to work, although there may not be sufficient scientific data to confirm their efficiency. Such plants should qualify as medicinal plants. The term crude drugs of natural or biological origin is used by pharmacists and pharmacologists to describe whole plants or parts of plants which have medicinal properties. This is an example of a medicinal plant. This is the plant and this is the medicine made from the plant. Another definition of medicinal plants for the purpose of this presentation is plants or plant parts used medicinally in gynecological preparations. Plants used for extraction of pure substances either for direct medicinal use or for the hemosynthesis. Hemisynthesis meaning the synthesis of a new compound derived from an existing natural product of medicinal compounds. Next is food, spice, and perfumery plants used medicinally. Example, ginger. Next is microscopic plants like fungi, actinomycetes, used for isolation of drugs, especially antibiotics. An example is ergot. And lastly, fiber plants. For example, cotton, flax, jute, used for the preparation of surgical dressings. These are the plants used for clinical preparations, and this is for the hemisynthesis. For example, the cassava, and next is the perfumery plants, and these are the microscopic plants, and this is the fiber plants. These days, the term alternative medicine became very common in Western culture. It focused on the idea of using the plants for medicinal purposes. But the current belief that medicines which come in capsules or pills are the only medicines that we can trust and use. Even so, most of these pills and capsules we take and use during our daily life came from plants. Medicinal plants frequently used as raw materials for extraction of active ingredients, which used in the synthesis of different drugs, like in case of laxatives, blood thinners, antibiotics, and anti-malaria medications, contain ingredients from plants. Medicinal plants have many characteristics when used as a treatment. There are three types: synergic medicine, support of official medicine, and the preventive medicine. The synergic medicine are the ingredients of plants that interact simultaneously, so their uses can complement or damage others or neutralize their possible negative effects. The support of official medicine is used in the treatment of complex cases like cancer diseases. The components of the plants proved to be very effective. The next one is the preventive medicine. It has been proven that the component of the plants also characterized by their ability to prevent the appearance of some diseases. This will help to reduce the use of the chemical remedies which will be used when the disease is already present. Example, it reduces the side effect of synthetic treatment. This is an example of synergic medicine, and this is the example of support of the official medicine, and these are the preventive medicines.
Non-food products of flags. I am about to give a few examples of flags that can be used as industry or anything that is not food. So first of all, it's flax. Flax is commonly known as flaxseed or linseed. It is grown for its oil and used as a nutrition supplement, meaning it can be used to enhance anything in accordance to health. It's an ingredient in many wood finishing products. It is used to furnish wood, making it, it's just to enhance its shininess. Its fibers are also used to make linen, in which linen is used to make cloth. Linen is also like cotton, but it's just 3 times as coarser. And as I've said, flaxseed is a vitamin that is rich in omega-3 acids that helps with the skin and helps with skin cancer and beauty effects. So next is hemp. Hemp is a variety or kind of cannabis sativa. And cannabis sativa is known for a psychoactive substance. And speaking of being a psychoactive substance, it affects the mind and alters the chemicals in the brain. So that's why it's illegal in some states because it is used as a drug. Hemp is grown from its oil mostly, as it can be used for clothes and also linen, food, paper, textiles, plastic, insulation, and even biofuel. Okay, next slide. Those hemp flax seeds. Next is cassava. Cassava is grown from its root. It is a long paper with a form of homogeneous flesh, encased in a detachable rind about 1 mm thick. It is rough and warm on the outside. It is mostly used as biofuel because of its ethanol or alcoholic substitute. Clothing. Flax are the largest providers of textile and fabric material. is eco-friendly, compatible, and less expensive compared to animals such as wool and leathers from reptiles. So, no use to make it cloth in bedding, which would harm the humans. The plant materials like cotton, juice, and etc. contribute to manufacturing of clothing. Garrucho and shelter. Plants are an important source of garrucho. The plant wood is used to build houses and also furniture items. We use wood for the purposes of its durability, stylish, and resistance to temperature changes. Trees like teak, neem, red sandal are good sources of wood in making any kind of garrucho, which includes shelves, tables, chairs, etc. And medicine. Now, lots of types of plants that can be used as medicine. As I have said in the previous slides, one of them is cannabis, and it's kind of a home blood plant. Now, different plants such as like aloe vera, which are rich in vitamins and omega-3, and things like that. For example, as plant as industry as wood, rubber, medicine, and nature. Natural pesticides. There are also sources of insecticides and pesticides. Using artificial pesticides can be dangerous to the environment because they may even cause food poisoning and health issues to human and animals. They degrade with time and even do not harm the soil. Pyrothene or pellet neem bacteria.
So imagine you're in a place like this, which is not well maintained, not cultivated, and aesthetically not appealing. What does it make you feel? Di ba uncomfortable? So imagine you're in a place like this one, which is the exact opposite of the previous one. Di ba it makes you happy, it's aesthetically appealing, and most of all, it makes you comfortable. So first of all, people choose plants for the landscape because of its function. Function pertains on what is the specific purpose of that plant. Adaptability is how that plant can adapt to a certain environment. Management, it is on how easy to plant, to grow, and to maintain that plant. And lastly, people choose plants for their aesthetic appeal. This leads us to our topic, aesthetic use of plants. So, pertaining to the aesthetic word, looking back at that word, aesthetic means, in the most basic sense, is pertaining to the appreciation of beauty, on how we see beauty, kung ano sa aton ang beauty. For aesthetic purposes, thousands of species of plants are being cultivated. In addition to that, it can also prevent soil erosion, provide privacy, abate noise. If you don't know what abate noise is, abating noise is noise cancellation. Examples of those are hollies and jumpers, or any trees that have thick branches, because if you have thick branches, it can produce excellent noise reduction. So it can also reduce wind, modify temperatures, and provide shades. Often, people cut dried flowers to frame and display houseplants in greenhouses or indoors. In gardens, bedding plants, herbaceous perennials, vines, shrubs, ornamental trees, shade trees, lawn grasses, and outdoor gardens are planted. Often in textiles, photography, language, humor, architecture, and art. Images of plants are also often used. So these plants are also used in coats of arms, flags, stamps, and money. There are forms made of living plants as well as including espalier, ikebana, bonsai, and topiary. The course of history has sometimes been changed by plants, such as the tulipomania. So if you don't know what tulipomania is, tulipomania was a period in the Dutch Golden Age where prices of those introduced tulips had a higher level and dramatically collapsed in the year 1637. So each year, plants are the reason for the existence of the multi-billion per year industry of tourism, which includes traveling of forests, rainforests, tulip festivals, national parks, historical gardens, botanical gardens, and arboretums. So arboretums are collections composed exclusively of trees. So in the National Cherry Blossom Festival, there are forests filled with colorful leaves of autumn. Plants that are sold as novelties include the resurrection plant, the sensitive plant, and the ever so famous Venus flytrap. Aesthetically, plants can become a piece of living sculpture. So imagine a plain wall, a plain white wall. But if you put plants along the wall, you can create a beautiful shadow pattern of branches and leaves. And this is what it looks like. So what is the science behind cultivating plants? So this is the science. Horticulture is the science and art of growing plants, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and any other cultivar. It also includes plants conservation, landscape restoration, soil management, landscape and garden design, construction and maintenance, and arboriculture. And the person behind that is the horticulturist. A horticulturist is an expert in the science of cultivating plants. So these are examples of plants that are used for aesthetics. Rose or the Hibiscus rosa sinensis, lotus or the Nelumbo nucifera, bougainvillea or the Bougainvillea glabara, and the orchid or the Orchidaceae. Thank you.
Now I will discuss the negative effects of plants. So first of all, the negative effects of plants are non-native plants that can lead to invasions which can have a harmful effect on biodiversity, humans and the environment. So these potential effects could be predicted for greater accuracy. According to Thomas van Hangstom, invasive plants are plants that have been introduced into a new area generally as a result of human actions and subsequently dispersed rapidly. They can have a major impact on the area's biodiversity and ecology. For example, some invasive plants may outcompete native species, while others may affect sedimentation processes and the chemical composition of the soil. Some invasive plants are weeds and cause problems in the agricultural sector. So this is an example of an invasive plant. Next, a negative effect is the competitors and litter on seedling, emergence, and growth of forest and grassland species. We conducted a pot experiment, testing the effects of litter type, such as grass and oak, litter amount, low, medium, or high, and interspecific competition, presence or absence of 4 Festuca ardencaea individuals, on seedling, emergence, and biomass of 4 congeneric pairs of hemicryptophytes from 2 habitat types, woodland and grassland. Interactions between litter and competition were weak. Litter presence increased competitor biomass. It had negative effects at high litter amounts, while competitors had no effect on seedling emergence. Seedling biomass was negatively affected by the presence of competitors, and this effect was stronger in combination with high amounts of litter. Litter affected seedling emergence, while competition determined the biomass of the emerged individuals, both affecting early stages of seedling and recruitment. So here are examples of biomass seedling. So the third negative effect of plants are plant toxins. Plant toxins are harmful effects. Are substances produced as secondary metabolites that are identical to extracellular bacterial toxins in their properties. They show both useful and harmful effects in the human beings and animals. They show a wide range of side effects from minor itching, nausea, vomiting to adverse effects like psychosis, paralysis, teratogenicity, and arrhythmias. Toxins may enter into by body either inhalation, swallowing, or by contact. The action is based on their chemical constituents, which are classified into alkaloids, glycosides, proteins, oxalates, antivitamins, tannins, volatile other layers, etc. They act by altering specific mechanisms involving enzymes, receptors, and even genetic material at particular cells and tissues. Poisonous plants have a seed, root, leaf, stalk, fruit, or juice, where even a relatively small amount, taken either internally or internally, can lead to injury to the human body. In some species, that poisonous constituents occur throughout the whole plant. So here are examples of plant toxin and animal toxin. So last negative effects of plants are indoor plants. Indoor plants that may be bad for your health. As you can see, houseplants are not only aesthetically pleasing, giving a touch of color to otherwise drab office or houses, they also combat indoor air pollution, particularly with their ability to remove volatile organic compounds or VOCs from the air. These compounds are gases or vapors emitted by solids and liquids that may have adverse short and long-term health effects on humans. But in addition to giving off oxygen, sucking out harmful VOCs, a new study has shown that some indoor plants actually release VOCs into the environment. A research team in the University of Georgia conducted a study that states that a snake plant had 12 VOCs or volatile organic compounds. And here's an example of a snake plant.
So guys, I'm here standing in front of you to discuss the scientific and cultural use of plants. So first, we must undergo the cultural topic. Plants are often used as a tool for ceremonial purposes, as artistic media to express indigenous traditions, or as herbal remedies. Mangosteen is an example of herbal remedies. Hallucinogenics to fulfill cultural needs and expectations. Culturally significant plants grow on all continents and are used by all ethnicities. It means that plants are able to grow in all continents. Historically, humans have appropriated plants for numerous cultural applications since prehistoric times. Plants have served as symbolic organisms to represent aspects of the life cycle and seasonal changes. Fall and dry leaves, which is autumn, is an example of seasonal changes. To worship and to make offering to gods, plants were incorporated into mythology and legends to show their meanings to various cultures. So next, plants, especially trees, have been assigned spiritual roles since prehistory. God's cross or God's crucifixion is made up by trees, or let's say made up by wood. So wood came from trees, right? So humans' daily lives have been influenced by how they perceive and integrate plants into their activities. Christians use plants and flowers, such as the Easter lily, represent the history of Jesus Christ. At Palm Sunday ceremonies, palms are the primary Christian botanical symbol for immortality and are used to designate martyrs and divine people and places. Ancient legends describe the tree of the cross, which provided the wood for Christ's crucifixion. Yeah, this is Easter lily, and this is God's crucifixion. So the second topic that we are going to discuss is scientific use of plants. Basic biological research has often been done with plants. So in genetics, the breeding of pea plants allowed Gregor Mendel to derive the basic laws governing inheritance. The examination of chromosomes in males allowed Barbara McClintock, there she is, to demonstrate their connection to inherited traits. The plant Arabidopsis thaliana is used in laboratories as a model organism to understand how genes control the growth and development of plant structures. So NASA predicts that space stations or space colonies will one day rely on plants for life support. Potato is one of the example of life support which do not need oxygen. So scientific advances in genetic engineering led to development in crops. Genetically modified crops introduce new traits to plants which they do not have naturally. These can bring benefits such as a decrease in the use of harmful pesticides by building in qualities such as insect resistance and herbicide tolerance. So, corn is an example of genetically modified crops. Corn production span is long. So, because of our technology today, corn production span is now fast. So our our third topic is plants and fungi in particular have industrial applications and mainly model of organisms enable comprehension of fundamental biology such as development and genetics. So mushroom is an example of fungi. Entrepreneurs apply plants such as fungi to provide biodegradable and sustainable products that are structural such as vehicle bumpers, packing materials, and building materials. Okay. Packing materials and building materials, enzymes produced by plants and fungi are valuable in the industry of paper, pulp. For fashion and even bioremediation, denim jeans are softened by enzymes from plants. So the last one is the rings of trees serve as a record of climates from the past and are important dating method in archaeology. Space colonies or space stations may one day depend on plants for the support of life. The ethnobotany field studies the use of plants by indigenous cultures which help in discovering new medical plants and in conserving species that are endangered. In the US, gardening is the most popular activity of leisure. Horticulture, therapy, or working with plants is beneficial for rehabilitating persons with disabilities.
If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. And you will come to realize that the plants are one of the most beautiful things this life has to offer. This ends our presentation. Thank you.